case is not a fucking crime or an admission of guilt. It just means I'm awaiting a court date. So if that popped up in his little computer, I wasn't gonna go to jail for having a pending court date. That being said, the white officers put their hands on me. Not hit me or made me bleed or nothing, but they grabbed me. Damn near put me in handcuffs before that walkie-talkie said, I'm not the person that they're looking for. And that was years ago. That was 12 years ago for the white police officers doing that up 69th Street. And you fast forward 12 years to present day, and you see kids getting hit with nightsticks by cops. Granted, you shouldn't have been trying to run and hop the L or the terminal for the subway where you was at. I don't know if that was Chicago or Los Angeles, but there's video up. You guys can go to shot97.com and holler at Star Troy Terrain. Make sure you click that good PayPal button and leave a donation for him, because he actually is putting real education out there, not just doing shock jock radio gossip. Okay? If you don't know nothing about, your rights as a civilian, if you don't know the rights of a police officer when you squirming around just asking, what did I do? That could be considered resisting arrest, and you are putting your fucking life on the line by doing that shit. You got these police officers trained for a couple of months, not even trained, but they go to a fucking class, a cadet class or something like that. Thank you. They go to a cadet class or something like that for like fucking 3 months. 3 months. Maybe 4 months, maybe 8 months is the longest. And they're given a fucking badge and a gun. But to be a doctor or a firefighter, shit, to work at McDonald's, you got to go through all these protocols and go through all these years of schooling, get this level of degree. But to kill a motherfucker as a cop, just go ahead and fill out the application. If they put you in the cadet joint and you pass the police force joint, you a cop. Here go your badge, here go your gun. And this is the area you on patrol. Let's not play stupid. This is Philadelphia. How many motherfuckers out there know niggas they went to high school with that's out there as cops right now? Twins. Now, I didn't go to school with them motherfuckers. They're younger than me, but at the end of the day, they already out in the streets. As soon as they graduated from the joint, they was out in the streets. One of them motherfuckers got hit with a shotgun. Boom! Right in the face. Hit him right in the jaw. He was chasing somebody on 53rd Street. That was all over the news. Somebody turned around and shot that nigga with a shotgun. He survived, and the boy who did that shit got his ass thoroughly whipped and placed in prison. Now, what about the people that's not shooting cops? What about the moms that's getting pulled over by police officers and getting illegal cavity searches in they pussy and asshole because they smelt marijuana and they checking you to see if you hiding weed in your pussy or in your asshole? What about them? What about them? What about the Mike Browns of the world who getting shot and abused and killed by police officers, and these fucking officers are walking? What about those individuals? Speaking of walking, in lieu of what happened in Ferguson, Missouri, the verdict that they reached, and I was watching CNN last night over my cousin Oliver crib. They got it all over the news. They got different reporters out there. They got split screen on this left-hand side of the screen. They got one of their reporters reporting on what's going on. On the other side of the screen, they're showing you footage of rioting and protesting and SWAT members and regular pedestrians out there going back and forth. I saw President Barack Obama. And when I was walking in, I caught it right at the part where he said, "This will not be achieved by throwing bottles. This will not be achieved by causing vandalism or harm to others. This won't be achieved by hurting people." While I agree wholeheartedly that as a people, nothing is going to change or get better because we lash out and go kill a cop or beat up somebody that's Caucasian because the person who shot Mike Brown was a fucking cop and he was white. Like, that's how we're going to get revenge. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand that your blood is boiling, but two wrongs don't make a right. And you can talk about science class and chemistry and talk about positive and negative charges, 2 electrons and neuro. You can do all that, but in reality, 2 wrongs don't make it right. Who polices the police? Who governs the government? These aren't questions that we as civilians have answers to. When we do something wrong, when I say we, I speak for the people. When the people do something wrong, there's always some authoritative figure ready to strike you down and hold you accountable for it. Whether you shoplift and go to trial, whether you have a fist fight in school and get suspended, whether you're purveying street pharmaceuticals and you get arrested for doing so, you're getting caught up. And I'm not downplaying any of those 3 things. I'm saying is they're good to do those things. No. Because as I said earlier in this pontification, there are rules and guidelines that we must follow. When I say we, again, I mean the people. To take a word and take a phrase from the homie Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter from WWE, we, the people, have rules and guidelines that we must follow as set by our different jurisdictions of police forces, state troopers, SWATs, and all types of shit. And each city and state have their own police force and their own set of rules and regulations that those police force members have to abide by, as well as the townsfolk and civilians of said township, city, or state. So while Barack Obama can come on and talk about how bad it is that those police officers or that police officer or every police officer that did something negative and walked on it, while he can talk about it, there's really not much he could do on a worldwide scale, because each police district in cities and states have their own federal guidelines and things they have to go through. They're all separate entities. So what he say for one cannot go for all. Just like the actions of one should not determine or should not be predetermined as the actions of all. The fact that there's still individuals, family members, fuck the civilians, no disrespect to the public, but let's take ourselves away from it, because that boy is not our cousin, he's not our brother. Besides the symbolism of black power, and that's our brother, he's not related to us. So let's separate ourselves from this case and let's worry about his family. Let's think about that boy's family. What his mother, father, uncle, grandma, grandparents, sisters, brothers, cousins, nieces, nephews is going through. How they're feeling about this injustice. I can go back to Trayvon Martin and how his parents, that excellent soliloquy that was provided by that man's father, talking about we don't want you out here fighting in our son's name, committing crimes, because that's not going to do anything but make things worse. That came from the father of the victim of George Zimmerman. He said he didn't want them people out there acting crazy, that wasn't going to solve a damn thing, but make black people look fucking worse. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am African American. I just so happen to have this light skin pigmentation because I'm mixed with like Irish, Puerto Rican, Native American, and things of that nature. But I'm African American. So I can't remove myself away from African American situations. But as I ask the public, let's separate ourselves. Let's get out of that. We have had another loss in our community due to these hating racist ass cops. Let's remove ourselves and just put ourselves in the shoes of the parents. Did the parents get on TV and say we want y'all to start striking out? Throwing bottles and shit at the cops? You might throw a bottle, they're going to throw some tear gas. As I was talking about that CNN simulcast, you got reporters coughing, tearing up, ladies on the TV saying, help me please. People throwing the SWAT team throwing tear gas. There's people throwing bottles. As soon as Barack Obama said don't throw no bottles, it's not going to be solved by throwing bottles or breaking car windows and stuff like that. Somebody threw a fucking bottle almost on cue. Look, don't make things worse. Shit is already bad. Things are already fucked up in the world. We are already looked at as savages, uneducated criminals, just off of a past, and not a justifiable past. Not a, that is exactly how all African Americans or all Mexicans or all Asians or all Italians, any ethnicity that is considered a minority. This is how they were from the beginning of time. So everybody that's born off of them has to go into that same dereliction. The original Adam and Eve sinned for us all. We are paying for their transgression now. We have been for eternity. The new Adam, that being Jesus Christ, wants us to live in repentance, looking for forgiveness, asking for his forgiveness and his salvation. But when you see something like this happen, I can understand, even though my faith has not been shaken or faltered in any way, shape, or form, in God, in our Savior Jesus Christ. But my faith in police, not even faith, but my belief that as long as you're doing all right and you're not doing nothing bad, ain't nothing going to happen to you. That's bullshit. I no longer believe that. Because some of these people wasn't doing a damn thing wrong. They didn't make a bad move. They didn't resist arrest or anything. And they were shot and fucking killed for their actions or lack thereof. Some of you may see some of these things. And when you hear things like everything happens for a reason, you may question, what is the reason for this? When a 2-year-old baby girl is riding in the backseat of her father's car, and some niggas thinking that this car belongs to some other guy start shooting at that car. Not only do the guy driving that car that's being shot at don't get shot, and he's not the person that they're looking for, but they just killed this 2-year-old baby girl. You tell me what the fuck the reason for that is. And don't hit me with the maybes and nothing like that, because I know who that little girl was. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, a few years back here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, down Center City, there was a white Cadillac that was shot at by a couple of guys because they thought, and they even confessed themselves, thinking that he was somebody else. Thought that he was this guy that put his hands on somebody in their family, a female, whatever, and they started shooting up the situation, shooting up his car when they saw the car. A little girl gets shot and killed. That was my ex-fiance's cousin's niece. I know that sounds really weird, but that's exactly who it was. So we know this little girl, and we know the people who are suffering right now for her being gone. And she brought up in a loving family. She was brought up in a loving family, I apologize. She was brought up being fed, being clothed properly, being educated, going to school, well, not going to school, but being in daycares. Her family, they're taking care of her. They're not abusing her. They're not mistreating her. So tell me what the fuck the reason that a 2-year-old girl had to get shot in the back of her throat, in the back of her head, and die to make this world a better place. Tell me what the reason for that is. So I can understand your anger. I can understand your concern. I can understand why you would say, this is bullshit. I don't believe in no more of this law shit. Fuck the cops and fuck the law. I can understand why you would say that. But on that same token, just like every minority is not a criminal, so the actions of one should not basically describe and define the actions of all, it goes the same way when we're talking about the police. Some of these officers actually believe in protect and serve. Some of these officers actually believe that what they're doing is changing the world for better. Some of these officers believe that the direction that they're going in is the right one. And yet, we defame, disrespect, and outright physically challenge all police when it comes to something like this happening. When we come back from the musical break coming up right now, I'm going to give you a soliloquy about whether or not police officers should be held responsible or accountable for the actions of what somebody else did. Should the police force in Philadelphia be rioted against, thrown bottles at, and fought with because of the actions of a police officer in Ferguson, Missouri? And while today, off of Market Street, or on Market Street, through Market Street, Philadelphia protested and was walking, marching through the city because of the unjust bullshit that happened in Ferguson, Missouri. Will marching help? Will protesting help? That is the theme of the show today, ladies and gentlemen. Will protesting help on this Tuesday? I digress. It's been a long week.